Last time, we landed on a rule. Every profitable build sits on a leverage point. Find the point, do the work, the build pays. No point, and it doesn't, no matter how clever it is. But a rule you can't act on is just a nice sounding sentence. So this one gets practical. Here's what you'll walk away with. By the end of this, you'll be able to look at a business, yours, a client's, any business, and point at the 1 or 2 spots where an AI build would actually compound. You'll know the patterns these points fall into, so you stop scanning randomly and start knowing what to look for. And you'll know the real work you do once you've found one. Because finding the spot is only half of it, and the half nobody tells you about is the one that pays. Finding it and working it. That's the whole skill, and it's where the money in this method actually lives. Let me be precise about what a leverage point even is, because the loose version will cost you. A leverage point is a specific spot in how a business runs, where a small, well-aimed AI build produces an outsized return. The work you put in is small, and the return on the other side is large. Not AI helps a bit, not this saves me 5 minutes here and there. A non-linear return, concentrated in one place. A build that can return many times what it cost you to make it. The founder's line for it, the one this whole course is built on, is that AI 10 times as your ability and your throughput when you put the human in at the right point and do the work. 10 times isn't a guarantee you can hold someone to. Anyone who quotes you a fixed multiple is making it up. But it's the order of magnitude these spots can hit. And it's the magnitude we're hunting. And that's exactly where almost everyone goes wrong. So name it now and don't be them. Most operators sprinkle AI evenly across everything. A little help here, a little there, and get marginal gains everywhere, and a real return nowhere. The leverage operator does the opposite. Finds the one spot where a build changes the most and pours the work into that single spot. Spread thin feels busy. Concentrated is what pays. Now, before I show you where these spots hide, I have to give you the part that completes the picture. Because if you take only the first half of this, you'll find a great spot and still walk away with nothing. A leverage point is 2 things at once, and they only pay together. The first is the one we've been circling, the spot in the business where the value is, the right place to aim. The second is the real work you do once you're standing on that spot. And here's the truth, the hype skips. AI does a tremendous amount, but it is not set it and forget it. There is no autopilot. Finding the right spot doesn't build anything by itself. You still have to do the work at it. So hold this the whole way through. A leverage point is the spot and the work. Half of it is where. The other half is what you actually do there. Skip either one and the return doesn't come. Okay, the where. Leverage points aren't random, they cluster. After you've found a few, you start seeing the same shapes over and over, business after business. I'll give you 4 of them. Learn these 4 and you've got a map. Instead of staring at a whole business, wondering where to point a build, you scan for 4 shapes and the candidates light up. Pattern 1, customer-facing repetition. Anywhere a human is doing the same conversation over and over, hundreds of times. The same support answer, the same qualifying questions on every lead, the same onboarding walkthrough for every customer. The tell, if a person is saying nearly the same thing to a different customer for the 10th time today, that's repetition. And repetition is where AI earns its keep. The build does the repetitive part. The human steps in for the exceptions. The weird case, the upset customer, the judgment call, the return shows up as labor hours freed or response time dropped. Often, many times over on the cost of that work. And it compounds because that conversation is happening all day, every day. Pattern 2, internal handoffs. Anywhere work passes from one person to another, and the person receiving it has to stop and ask, wait, what's the context here? The brief from sales to delivery, the handoff from the designer to whoever builds it, the escalation from support to engineering with half the story missing. Every one of those leaks time and creates rework. because context gets dropped on the floor in the gap between two people. That gap is where the value is. A build carries the context across, while the humans keep doing the judgment on each end. The return is the handoff time and the rework you stop losing. And because that leak is happening on every single handoff, closing, it can pay back many times what the build cost. And handoffs are everywhere, which is exactly why this one's easy to miss. It's so normal, nobody questions it. Pattern 3, data to decision flows. Anywhere someone sits down, reads a pile of information, and turns it into a judgment. The weekly numbers review, the read on which customers are about to churn, the marketing report someone stares at to decide what's working. It's always the same shape. Gather, read, summarize, decide, and here's the split that makes it pay. The gathering and the first draft summary is the slow, heavy part, and it's exactly what AI is good at. The deciding needs a human, and it stays human. The build does the reading and hands you a draft. You make the call. The return is the prep time you get back. Often, hours collapse to minutes, every single week. Pattern 4, content production at scale. Anywhere content has to be produced over and over. Blog posts, video scripts, ad variations, email sequences, the endless social posts, and the bottleneck is volume. More than one human producing from scratch can keep up with. The build does the production. The human does the two ends that need taste. The brief going in, the review coming out. You're not handing creativity to a machine and walking away. You aim it with a sharp brief, catch it with a real review, and in the middle, it produces the volume of several people at once, one person shipping what used to take a team. The return is on output. Many times, the throughput at the same headcount. 4 patterns: customer-facing repetition, internal handoffs, data to decision flows, content at scale. Now here's how you run them against a real business, because a list isn't a method until you can use it. You walk the business and ask 3 questions. Where is a human doing the same thing over and over? Where does work get stuck or drop passing from one person to the next? And where is someone spending real time turning information into a decision or producing the same output again and again? Anywhere you get a clear yes, you've got a candidate. One business usually has all 4 running at once, which is good news. It means the points are there. Your job isn't to fix all of them. It's to pick the single one where a build would change the most. 1 spot done well beats 4 done halfway. So now you've found a spot. Here's the half nobody puts on the brochure: the work. Standing on a good spot does nothing on its own. What turns it into a return is the work you do there. And AI does not do this part for you. It's the most capable assistant you've ever had, and it will still confidently build the wrong thing if you hand it a vague idea and walk away. The work that pays off comes down to 3 moves. First, you write the spec in detail and accurately. You tell the build exactly what it does, what counts as right, what to do when something goes sideways. Not build me a support bot. The actual specifics, what it answers, what it never touches, what it does when it doesn't know. Vague in, garbage out, every time. The detailed spec is you doing the thinking up front, so the AI builds the right thing instead of a confident guess. Second, you review the plan before it runs. The AI will tell you how it intends to build the thing. And that 10-second look is where you catch the misunderstanding before it becomes a finished build of the wrong thing. People skip this because they're eager to see output. Don't. Reading the plan first is the cheapest mistake catch you'll ever get. Third, you steer with feedback. The first version won't be perfect. That's normal, that's expected. You look at what came out, tell it what's off, point it in the right direction, and run it again. You don't accept the first draft, and you don't quit after one miss. You direct it, the way you'd train a sharp new hire who's fast and eager and doesn't yet know your business. The people who win with AI aren't the ones who get it perfect on the first try. They're the ones who don't give up on the first try. And here's the part that should make this whole course click into place. That work, the spec, the plan review, the steering, is not separate from the method you're learning. It is the method. The detailed spec is context. Reviewing the plan and checking the result is verification. Steering with feedback is the feedback loop. The 5-phase method you came in with is the work at the leverage point. That's why the method makes you money. It's the literal set of moves that turns a good spot into a build that pays. The leverage point is where. The method is what you do there. Same thing, 2 halves. So here's the test for whether you've actually found a real leverage point. Because hope is not a multiplier. Can you name the return in plain, concrete terms? Not, "this'll be great." Something you could say out loud and defend. This replaces about 3 hours a week of support work. This cuts onboarding from 2 weeks down to 2 days. This lets one person produce the content that used to take 3. If you can point at the spot and say what it gives back in real terms, you've probably got a real one. If the best you can do is, "it'd be cool," or "it might help," you haven't found one. You've found a place AI saves 5 minutes, and that won't carry a build. Keep looking, or pick a different spot. Being honest at exactly this question is what saves you from pouring a week into a build that was never going to pay. We'll get into the actual math. Pricing it, if you're building for clients, measuring it, if it's your own business, later in this module. For now, the test is just, can you name the return in plain terms, yes or no? So that's the leverage point, both halves. The where, 4 patterns you scan any business for, and the what, the real work once you've found the spot, which is the method itself and is the half that actually turns the point into money. Find the spot, do the work, skip either, and the return doesn't come. So here's your move before the next one. Take your own business or a client's and walk it against the 4 patterns. Find the candidates where a human's doing the same thing over and over, where context gets dropped in a handoff, where someone's grinding data into a decision, where content's getting produced by hand at volume. Pick the single one where a build would change the most, then write down, in plain terms, what it would give back. If you can name the return, you've got your first profitable build. If you can't, you've just saved yourself a wasted week, and that's worth as much. You've got the leverage point, and you can name what it gives back. The next problem is the one that kills most builds that had every right to pay: scope. A profitable idea becomes a 6-month project that ships nothing because nobody decided what was actually in version 1. So next, we scope it. What goes in, what gets cut, what waits. The discipline that gets a profitable build out the door instead of sprawling forever. That's where we head next. And if you want to see what all of this looks like fully built out, it isn't theory. Go look at ScaleBoss. It's a production business operating system, live right now, with real companies running their operations on it, built with these exact methods. The same patterns you just learned, the same real work at the point, just at full size. And I'm doing it again in public with Revistack. The first piece, Brand Engine, is the tool that produces this channel's content end to end, the scripts and graphics and voice. Same patterns, same method. Go see them when you want proof the spots are real and the work is what pays. For now, find your highest value point, and I'll see you in the next one.